They say the mirror of frozen souls can show you your past lives. But what the peddler failed to mention before he died was that it could also show you your future deaths. I learned this truth on the night I traded away everything I loved for a chance at revenge, and discovered too late that the face staring back at me through that cursed glass was not my own, but belonged to the woman I had destroyed. The autumn wind carried the scent of asmanthus flowers through the streets of Lin'an, but I could smell only blood. Not the fresh blood of violence, but the ghost of blood spilled 7 years ago, the memory of which had stained every breath I'd taken since that terrible night when they dragged my father from our home and left his head decorating the palace gates by morning. They said he was a traitor. They said he had plotted against the emperor. They lied. My name is Shen Qingyan, and I was once the daughter of a minister so respected that even the emperor sought his counsel. We lived in a compound with gardens that bloomed year-round, where servants moved like silk across polished floors, and my mother wore jade bangles that sang like wind chimes when she walked. I had a betrothed, a young scholar named Wei Jian, whose poetry made the moon seem dim. I had a future as bright as lantern light. Then came the night of knives and accusations, and by dawn I had nothing but a borrowed name and the clothes on my back. My mother took poison before they could seize her. My betrothed publicly denounced my family and married another within the month, and I learned that the friend I had trusted most, the woman I had called sister, had been the one to whisper poison in the right ears, to forge the letters that condemned my father, all because she had wanted what was mine. Her name was Lin Yue, and she was beautiful the way winter is beautiful, cold and perfect and deadly. We had grown up together, closer than blood, sharing secrets in the moonlight and dreams of our futures. I told her everything, every weakness, every fear, every hope, and she had taken that knowledge and fashioned it into a blade that cut my entire world away. For 7 years I survived in the shadows of Lin'an, no longer the delicate minister's daughter, but a woman who knew hunger, who knew the rough hands of men who thought a girl with no family had no worth, who learned to pick locks and pockets with equal skill. I survived, but I did not live. I breathed, but only to keep my hatred warm. Every morning I woke with Lin Yue's name on my lips, like a prayer in reverse. Every night I dreamed of her destruction, but Lin Yue had risen high on the bones of my family. She had married my former betrothed, Wei Jian, who had used my father's confiscated wealth to purchase a position in the Ministry of Rights. Together they lived in a compound even grander than the one I had lost, and I could do nothing. I was no one. I was nothing. A ghost haunting the city where I'd once been beloved. Then the peddler came to Lin'an. I first heard of him in the Street of Red Lanterns, where I worked serving wine to merchants and minor officials, keeping my face down and my mouth shut. A customer mentioned a strange man selling treasures from the western regions, objects of power and mystery. Most such peddlers were frauds, but something in the way the man spoke, a tremor in his voice like fear or wonder, made me listen. "He has a mirror," the merchant said, his words slurring with drink, "a mirror that shows you your soul across all your lifetimes." I looked into it and saw myself as a beggar, as a king, as a bird flying over endless mountains. But the price, he asks, the price? He trailed off, shaking his head, and would say no more. But I had heard enough. I found the peddler 3 days later in the temple district, set up beneath the shadow of the pagoda of 7 sorrows. He was younger than I expected, perhaps 40, with eyes that held no color I could name. They shifted between gray and green and gold depending on how the light struck them. His stall was small, draped in black silk, and the objects displayed seemed ordinary at first glance. A jade comb, a bronze bell, a painted fan, and a mirror. It was round, the size of both my palms pressed together, framed in tarnished silver worked with symbols I did not recognize. The surface was not true silver, but something darker, like mercury frozen mid-ripple. Looking at it made my stomach clench, though I could not say why. "You have the eyes of someone seeking justice," the peddler said. His voice was smooth as oil on water. "Or is it revenge? I confess I can never tell the difference." "I want to see it," I said, gesturing to the mirror. The mirror that shows past lives. His smile revealed teeth too white, too perfect. "Ah, you have heard the stories. But stories are like reflections, girl. They show only what the teller wishes you to see. The mirror of frozen souls shows much more than past lives. It shows the truth of what you are, what you have been, and what you might become. What is the price? He laughed, a sound like ice cracking on a winter pond. Direct. I appreciate that. The price is different for each person. The mirror decides what it requires. Show me. He studied me for a long moment, those strange eyes seeming to peel away skin and muscle to examine the bones beneath. Then he lifted the mirror from its velvet cushion and held it out. Look long into your reflection, he said. Ask the mirror what you most desire. It will answer, and then it will name its price. My hand trembled as I took the mirror. It was heavier than it looked, and cold despite the warmth of the day. I raised it slowly, dreading and desperate in equal measure. At first I saw only myself. My face had grown harder in 7 years, the soft curves of girlhood replaced by sharp angles and suspicious eyes. I looked like a stranger. Then the surface rippled. Images bloomed like blood in water. I saw myself as a child, laughing in my father's gardens. I saw myself in my mother's arms, safe and loved. I saw myself standing beside Lin Yue, both of us young and innocent, swearing eternal friendship beneath the moon. The pain of it was exquisite. Then the images shifted. I saw Lin Yue in my father's study, carefully forging his handwriting on letters of sedition. I saw her meeting in darkness with officials I recognized, trading secrets for promises. I saw Wei Jian standing beside her, his face not shocked or dismayed but calculating, ambitious, complicit. They had planned it together, both of them. The betrayal was complete. Show me how to destroy them, I whispered to the mirror, and my breath fogged the surface. Show me revenge. The mirror grew warm in my hands. The images changed again, faster now. A whirlwind of possibilities. I saw myself with a knife, creeping into their bedchamber. I saw myself with poison, serving them a final meal. I saw fire and screams and blood. But in every vision, I was caught, executed, my revenge incomplete. Then one final image crystallized. I saw myself beautiful again, my face transformed, my body dressed in silks finer than any I'd worn as a minister's daughter. I saw myself entering the compound where Lin Yue and Wei Jian lived. I saw them welcome me, trust me, confide in me. I saw myself become the knife that would cut them from the inside, patient and perfect. The mirror's surface went dark, and words appeared as if written in smoke. I can give you beauty beyond measure, charm that none can resist, and 7 days of power over the hearts of those you choose. In 7 days, you may accomplish your revenge. This is my gift. Then new words formed, and these seemed written in blood. The price is this: your true face will be mine. After 7 days, you will wear a face chosen for you, and you may never remove it. You will live with this face until death, and it will reflect the truth of what you have become. Accept this bargain, and your revenge is assured. I stared at the words, my heart pounding. To trade my face seemed a small thing. I barely recognized myself anymore. What did it matter what I looked like, as long as I could make them suffer? I accept, I said. The mirror flashed brilliant white, and pain exploded through my skull. I felt my face crack and reform, felt bones shift and skin tighten. I gasped and dropped the mirror. The peddler caught it before it hit the ground, still smiling. The transformation is complete, he said. 7 days, beginning now. Use them wisely, Shen Qingyan. The mirror always keeps its bargains. I ran from the temple district, pushing through crowds until I found a shop window polished enough to show my reflection. The face looking back at me stole my breath. I was beautiful, not beautiful like Lin Yue's cold perfection, but radiant, luminous, the kind of beauty that poets died trying to describe. My skin was flawless porcelain, my eyes luminous as stars, my lips the exact shade of cherry blossoms in spring. Men and women alike turned to stare as I passed, their expressions dazed. 7 days. I had 7 days to destroy them both. I began that very evening. I bought new clothes with money stolen from drunken merchants, silk robes in shades of twilight blue and silver. I arranged my hair with jade pins. I transformed myself from ghost to goddess. And when I was ready, I went to the theater where I knew Lin Yue and Wei Jian attended performances every week. They were in their usual box, dressed in luxury purchased with my family's stolen wealth. Wei Jian had grown soft around the middle, his scholar's robes unable to hide the effects of rich food and idle living. Lin Yue remained beautiful, but there was a brittleness to her now, a tightness around her eyes that spoke of fears and sleepless nights. Good. She should fear. She should never sleep soundly again. I made certain they saw me. I moved through the crowd like moonlight through shadow. And I felt the moment Wei Jian's eyes found me. His expression went slack with desire. I turned away, smiled to myself, and slipped into a private box across from theirs. All through the performance, I felt his gaze on me. I pretended not to notice, watching the actors while tracking him from the corner of my eye. Lin Yue noticed his distraction. I saw her touch his arm, speak sharply. He barely responded. The poison was already working. After the performance, I made my way to the courtyard garden where the wealthy mingled and discussed the show. Wei Jian found me within moments, abandoning Lin Yue without a backward glance. "Forgive my boldness," he said, bowing with practiced elegance. "But I do not recognize you, and I know all the notable families of Lin'an. Have you recently arrived in the city?" His voice had not changed. I had loved that voice once, had treasured every word of poetry he'd written for me. Now it made my skin crawl. But I smiled, and my new face made that smile devastating. "I am called Zhao Mingmei," I said, using a false name I'd prepared. "I have been living in the south, but family matters have brought me north. I know few people in Lin'an. It is refreshing to meet someone kind enough to notice a stranger." "Impossible not to notice you," he said, and the hunger in his eyes was naked. "You outshine the moon itself." I lowered my eyes modestly, playing the role perfectly. We spoke for several minutes, light conversation about the theater and the city. I could see Lin Yue watching from across the garden, her expression darkening. Perfect. "My wife is waiting," Wei Jian said reluctantly, "but I would very much like to continue our conversation. Perhaps you would do me the honor of visiting my home. My wife and I often host gatherings for scholars and artists. Your presence would grace our humble compound." "I would be delighted," I said, and gave him my most radiant smile. I saw the hook sink deep. He bowed 3 times before leaving, and walked back to Lin Yue like a man in a dream. That night I returned to my small rented room and examined my reflection again. My new face smiled back at me, beautiful and terrible. I thought about the mirror's price. After 7 days, this face would be gone, replaced with one that reflected the truth of what I had become. I tried to imagine what that might mean, but I was too intoxicated with power to care. Revenge was within my grasp. The invitation arrived the next morning, delivered by a servant in fine livery. A gathering in 3 days' time, at the compound of Wei Jian and his honored wife, Lin Yue. I was requested to attend as an esteemed guest. I laughed until tears ran down my perfect cheeks. I spent the next 2 days preparing. I purchased more clothes, learned which officials and scholars would attend the gathering, crafted a history for my false identity that would intrigue and impress. I practiced expressions in the mirror, learning how to use my new face like a weapon. The night of the gathering, I arrived dressed in robes of midnight blue embroidered with silver phoenixes. The compound gates opened before me, and I walked paths I had once known as a girl, when Lin Yue and I would visit each other's homes and play in gardens just like these. The memories burned, but I transformed the pain into cold purpose. Wei Jian greeted me personally, abandoning his other guests to escort me inside. I could feel Lin Yue's eyes on us, sharp as daggers. The gathered officials and scholars parted before us, everyone wanting to see the newcomer who had captured their host's attention so completely. "You honor my home with your presence," Wei Jian said, his hand hovering near my elbow with proprietary intimacy. "The honor is mine," I replied. Then I turned and met Lin Yue's eyes directly for the first time in 7 years. She was studying me with an expression I recognized, suspicion mixed with curiosity, the look of someone trying to solve a puzzle. For a terrible moment, I thought she knew me. Then her expression smoothed into a hostess's polite mask, and she glided forward. "Welcome to our home, Lady Zhao," she said. "My husband has spoken of nothing but your beauty and grace since the theater." I confess I was eager to meet the woman who so impressed him. There was acid beneath the honey in her voice. I smiled. "Your husband is too kind, but I'm far more impressed by you, Lady Lin. Your reputation for wisdom and grace is renowned throughout Lin'an. I have heard such stories of your virtue and loyal heart. I watched the words strike. Her smile tightened fractionally. Wei Jian, oblivious, beamed. My wife is indeed a treasure, he said. I am blessed beyond measure. Blessed by loyal friends, I agreed, looking directly at Lin Yue. After all, the truest test of character is how one treats those closest to them. Something flickered in her eyes. A memory, perhaps. A ghost of guilt. Then it was gone. The evening progressed like a carefully orchestrated dance. I charmed every official, impressed every scholar with knowledge I'd spent 7 years collecting from the margins of their world. I recited poetry that made them sigh. I discussed philosophy with insight that made them lean forward. And through it all, I kept Wei Jian entranced, while watching Lin Yue's composure fracture in tiny, satisfying increments. Late in the evening, Lin Yue approached me in the garden, where I stood admiring the moon. You are not what you seem, she said, without preamble. My heart stuttered, but I kept my expression serene. None of us are, Lady Lin. We all wear faces for the world. I know all the prominent families in the southern provinces, she continued. There is no Zhao family of the status you claim. Perhaps you do not know as much as you think, I said softly. Even the wisest can be deceived. Even the closest friends can be strangers. She stepped closer, her eyes searching mine. Have we met before? In this life? I smiled. I think not. But perhaps in another we knew each other well. Perhaps we were even friends. I do not believe in past lives. No? Yet we are haunted by ghosts all the same. Tell me, Lady Lin, do you sleep peacefully? Do you never wake in darkness, wondering if the foundations of your fortune are as solid as they seem? Her face went pale. What do you know? Only what the mirror shows me, I said cryptically. Then I turned away. Thank you for your hospitality. I think I shall retire for the evening. I left her standing in the garden and felt her fear following me like a shadow. Over the next 3 days, I moved through their lives like poison through veins. I visited their home daily, encouraged by Wei Jian's increasingly desperate invitations. I spoke to him of poetry and philosophy, drew him away from his duties, made him neglect his work. I watched him fall deeper into obsession with every hour, and I spoke to Lin Yue of memories and ghosts, dropping hints and implications that kept her awake at night. I asked casual questions about her past, her friendships, the sources of her wealth. I mentioned names I should not have known, places I should not have remembered. I watched paranoia bloom in her like frost. On the 5th day, Wei Jian confessed his feelings to me in the garden. I know it is wrong, he said, his voice breaking. I am married. I should be content. But from the moment I saw you, it is as if I have been awakened from a long sleep. You are everything I have ever desired. Everything I thought I had found once before, but lost. Lost? I prompted gently. I was betrothed once, many years ago, he said, to a girl I thought I loved. But she was the daughter of a traitor. Her family fell into disgrace, and I had to protect my own future. I married another, a woman more suitable. But I have often wondered what might have been different if you had been loyal, I suggested, my voice like silk over steel. If you had stood by your love instead of abandoning her to save yourself. He looked at me sharply. How did you know I abandoned her? You just told me, I said. But such choices haunt us, do they not? We betray those closest to us, and we tell ourselves it was necessary, that we had no choice. We build our lives on the ruins of others and try not to hear the ghosts screaming beneath the foundation. You speak as if you know something of betrayal, he said. Everyone knows betrayal, Master Wei. We are all both victim and perpetrator, but some betrayals are worse than others. Some are so profound that they poison everything that comes after. Tell me, when you married your wife, did you know what she had done to secure her position? Did you help her commit her crimes, or simply benefit from them? His face went white. What crimes? What are you talking about? I leaned close, my beautiful face inches from his. Ask your wife about Minister Shen. Ask her how he really died. Ask her what letters she forged, what lies she told, whose blood paid for your comfortable life. I walked away and left him standing there, trembling. That night, Lin Yue came to my rented room. I was expecting her. She burst through the door like a winter storm, her beauty transformed into something frightening by rage and fear. Who are you? She demanded. What do you want? I stood slowly, facing her across the small room. I am exactly what you made me, a ghost, a weapon, a reckoning. Qingyan, she whispered. And hearing her speak my true name after so many years was like a knife between my ribs. It is you. But how? Your face. The mirror gives and the mirror takes, I said. I traded my face for 7 days of power, 7 days to destroy you as you destroyed me. And I have done it, Lin Yue. Wei Jian suspects you now. He will question you, he will investigate. And when he learns the truth about what you did to my family, what you made him complicit in, your perfect life will crumble to dust. She stared at me, tears streaming down her face. You do not understand. I understand betrayal, I spat. I understand lies and treachery and murder. No, she said. You do not understand why. And then, to my shock, she fell to her knees. I did it to save you, she whispered. The words made no sense. I laughed, bitter and sharp. Save me? You destroyed my family. Your father was already doomed, she said. The emperor's brother wanted his position. The charges were going to be brought regardless. I learned of the plot against your family, and I tried to warn you, but your father would not believe me. He said the emperor would protect him. He was a fool. Liar, I hissed. I forged those letters to control the narrative, she continued, her voice desperate. If I had not, the charges would have been worse. They would have claimed your father plotted to assassinate the emperor himself. Your entire family would have been executed, including you. By forging evidence of a lesser plot, I saved your life. They only took your father. I felt the ground shifting beneath me. No, you married Wei Jian. You took my place. Wei Jian was part of the plot against your family, she said. He was the one who brought the initial accusations. I seduced him, married him, to learn what he knew, to protect you. I thought if I was his wife, I could control what he did, what he said. I thought I could save everything. My mother killed herself, I said, my voice breaking. I know. Fresh tears spilled down her face. I did not anticipate that. I thought she would flee with you. I had money prepared, a plan for your escape, but she chose death instead, and you vanished into the city. I have searched for you for 7 years, Qingyan. Every day. I have used my position, my wealth, everything to try to find you, to explain. Why should I believe you? But my voice wavered. Because I have never spent a copper of your family's wealth, she said. It is all still there, hidden, waiting for you. Because I have never stopped trying to gather evidence against the emperor's brother. Because every action I have taken has been to one day restore your name and give you back what was stolen. She pulled something from her robes, a jade pendant. I recognized it instantly, my father's pendant, the one he wore every day of his life. I took this from his body before they displayed it, she said. I have kept it safe for you. I have kept everything safe for you. The pendant seemed to burn in her palm. I wanted to call her a liar. I wanted my hatred to remain pure and uncomplicated. But doubt crept in like water through cracks. The mirror showed me your betrayal, I said desperately. I saw you forge the letters. The mirror shows truth, but truth can be misunderstood, she said. Did it show you what came before? Did it show you why? I thought back to the visions, trying to remember. The images had moved so fast, and I had been so eager for revenge. Had I seen the full story, or only the parts that confirmed my hatred? What have I done? I whispered. What day is this? Lin Yue asked urgently. The 6th day. Then you have 1 day left before the mirror's price is due. 1 day to decide what kind of person you truly are. You have poisoned my marriage, destroyed my reputation, turned my husband against me. You have your revenge, Qingyan. The question is whether it has brought you peace. She stood, placed the jade pendant on the table between us, and walked to the door. There she paused. I loved you like a sister, she said. I still do. I would do it all again to save your life, even knowing you would hate me for it. That is what love means. Then she was gone, and I was alone with the pendant and my crumbling certainty. I spent that night in agony, turning over every memory, every vision, every word. I went back to the temple district at dawn on the 7th day, desperate to find the peddler, to ask him for more time, for answers. He was there, packing his stall, preparing to leave. Please, I said, I need to look in the mirror again. I need to see the truth. He studied me with those colorless eyes. You have already seen the truth. Whether you understood it is another matter. I may have made a terrible mistake. Most likely, he agreed. The mirror shows what is there, but it does not interpret. That is up to you. And people see what they wish to see, especially when their hearts are full of pain. Let me look again. I will pay any price. The mirror has already named its price, he said, and the seventh day is here. Look. He held up the mirror one final time. My beautiful face stared back at me. Then, as I watched, it began to change. The skin cracked and reformed, the features shifted, and the face that emerged was not my original face, nor was it the face of a monster. It was Lin Yue's face. I gasped. I do not understand. The mirror reflects the truth of what you have become, the peddler said. You sought to destroy the one who loved you most. You became the very thing you hated. And now you will wear her face for the rest of your life, a reminder of what your vengeance has cost. The transformation completed. I raised trembling hands to touch my new face, Lin Yue's face, the face of the woman I had tried to destroy. Can it be undone? I whispered. Nothing can be undone, he said, but much can be redeemed. That choice, however, is yours. He walked away, leaving me standing in the shadow of the pagoda of 7 sorrows, wearing the face of my sister. I returned to the compound where Wei Jun and Lin Yue lived. The servants tried to stop me, but I pushed past them. I found Wei Jin in his study, surrounded by papers, documents detailing the plot against my father. Evidence Lin Yue had been gathering for 7 years. He looked up as I entered, and his expression cycled through shock, confusion, and horror. How are there 2 of you? He whispered. Listen to me, I said. Your wife has told you the truth. Everything she did was to protect the innocent. Everything you did was to advance yourself. You were the architect of the Shen family's destruction, not her. Who are you? I am the consequence of your choices, I said. I am the ghost you created, and I am here to tell you that if you do not confess your crimes, if you do not clear the Shen family name and accept responsibility for your actions, I will haunt you until your dying day. I did not know if he believed me. I did not know what power I still possessed. But something in my voice, or perhaps in Lin Yue's face, convinced him. I will confess, he said, and he sounded relieved. I am tired of living with the weight of it. I found Lin Yue in the garden, standing exactly where I had left her the night before. When she saw me, her eyes widened. Qingyan, I'm sorry, I said, and I wore her face as I said it. This woman who had sacrificed everything for me. I am so sorry. I believed the worst of you. I sought revenge when I should have sought truth. She embraced me, and we wept together, 2 women wearing the same face, both broken by betrayal and misunderstanding. The mirror's price, I said. I must wear your face now. Forever. She pulled back, studied me. Then we are truly sisters now, more than we ever were before. I have destroyed your life. No, she said firmly. You have freed me. Wei Jin will confess his crimes. Your family's name will be cleared. The wealth I have guarded will be returned to you, and I will finally be free of a marriage that was only ever a cage I built to protect you. In the months that followed, the truth emerged like light through darkness. Wei Jian confessed to his role in the plot against Minister Shen. The emperor's brother was implicated and fell from power. My father's name was restored, his honor returned. The wealth seized from my family was given back, along with reparations. And I learned to live with Lin Yue's face, this constant reminder of love and betrayal, of revenge and redemption. People who had known her were confused, seeing 2 Lin Yues in the city. We told them we were sisters, which was true in all the ways that mattered. We used the restored wealth to help others who had been falsely accused, who had suffered as my family suffered. We became known throughout Lin'an as advocates for justice, for truth, for second chances. Some nights I still dream of the mirror, of that moment when I chose revenge over trust. I wonder what face I would wear if I had chosen differently. But then I wake and see Lin Yue sleeping in the next room of the compound we now share, and I touch my face, that is her face. And I remember that some prices are not punishments, but gifts in disguise. The mirror showed me the truth, but I had to learn to see it. It gave me 7 days of power, but in the end, it taught me that real power lies not in revenge, but in the courage to forgive, to seek understanding, to choose love over hatred. I am Shen Qingyan. I wear the face of the woman who saved me, the sister I betrayed, the friend who never stopped loving me. And I will wear this face with honor for the rest of my days, a living reminder that the greatest betrayal is often the one we commit against ourselves, when we let pain blind us to truth. The mirror is gone now, carried away by the peddler to some other city, to some other soul hungry for revenge. But its lesson remains, written in the face I see each morning in still water, in polished bronze, in the eyes of my sister when she looks at me and smiles. We are all mirrors for each other, reflecting what we choose to see. The question is whether we have the courage to look deeply enough to see the truth, or whether we settle for the comfortable lies that justify our hatred. I chose revenge and found redemption. I traded my face for power and gained a sister. The mirror's bargain was cruel and perfect, like all true transformations. And I would make the same choice again, knowing what I know now. Because some prices are worth paying, some faces are worth wearing, and some loves are worth destroying yourself to discover. The osmanthus flowers bloom each autumn in Lin'an, and their scent no longer smells of blood, but of memory, of loss, of hard-won understanding. I walk through the city where I once had everything, lost everything, and found something more valuable than what I had before. I walk with my sister's face, and I am home.